This is telling you a lot about myself in one sentence, but my RuneScape username in middle school was literally ukulele. It was the first instrument I really taught myself, and I brought one with me basically everywhere for a considerable portion of my life. And over the years, I've kind of gotten away from playing it, literally every day as I've picked up some other instruments. But I thought today I'd dive back into my roots and try to make a lo-fi beat using a ukulele. So I still have a pretty decent collection of ukuleles, but this one happens to be an electric acoustic, so I can just kind of plug it right in and record straight out of the DAW, rather than having to mic it up and try to get everything dialed in just right. Certainly not the nicest ukulele I own, but I really like it. It's caramel, got this cool like zebra print wood going on. I'm gonna fiddle around on this thing and try to find a chord progression I like that maybe will fit with some lo-fi. So, I mean, obviously we gotta get like some sevenths going. What even? I mean, I don't know why I did that. All right, I realized this was gonna be way easier to record if I just kind of like laid in a couple of elements to record along with. So I just mapped out the chord progression on a MIDI and then added some drums. So this is what the loop without the ukulele sounded like here. Oh man. It sounds so harsh. So let's start with just laying down like some guide strums, I guess. I'm gonna try really hard to use the pad of my thumb so I don't get like such an aggressive string pluck here. All right, so I basically just recorded like a guide strum part and then a couple of like slightly more chuggy parts, one for the left and one for the right. This definitely needs a little bit of love to get cleaned up, so let's get that started right now here. So let's start with just gluing this thing way down. All right, I realized I basically just dialed in and forgot to speak this entire time, so I'm gonna try to give you guys a little bit of a play-by-play, maybe drop a couple tips in this voiceover. So here, just trying to shape the ukulele sound, I was looking for some harsh frequencies, and then I got a little more artistic with the mix, trying to throw some RC20, lean into that lo-fi feel and that pluck layer specifically. So from there, I routed those chugging ukes that are kind of hard pan to their own bus, and basically did the same thing with a slightly different RC20 setting, trying to differentiate that from the strum layer. That doesn't sound that awful. Go ahead and throw a little bass on this bad boy. So I took a little time getting that level to mix out the way I like, side change to the kick to make sure we're not fighting too much with the low end. Once I had that dialed in, I was feeling like I really needed the melodic layers to be filled out a bit more, so I ended up routing a whole bunch of them to this one like reverb bus, trying to create basically a pad out of all the sounds that are already there. And then you'll see I actually end up also sidechaining that to the kick so that we're not overpacking the mids and filling it up too much, making it too muddy. Let's go ahead and try to range this out, throw a top line melody on this bad boy, huh? So I like to think of my arrangements sort of like energy profiles. I've talked about this a few times on the channel, where essentially you're trying to bring energy up and down so that the track doesn't feel stagnant. So you'll see I'm doing that a lot by both taking elements away, introducing them in the drop. And then what you heard there is a nice little filter automation where the drums are all on one bus and they're super close down to the mids, and then it kind of opens up to the full spectrum here. So even with that, I was feeling like I could go for a little bit more contrast and a little bit more intrigue. So I ended up automating the volume on the reverb layer. And I really like what that added there. So at this point, I felt like at that drop, it still wasn't feeling quite enough contrast between the intro and the drop. So I wanted to put a string layer in, just kind of bolster that melodic content there. Fill out the mids, a little bit more low info. And right here, I'm trying a technique I just picked up from my friend Eho over at Astral Music Tutorials, where you can use the Fruity Sound Enhancer, I think, to do mid-side processing. It's way easier than what I was doing before. So essentially, I basically just sent the stereo info from the strings over to its own mixer track and processed those separately and completely took the mids out, or the mid out. And then here's just one more layer of contrast. So there, I just wanted a piece where you get a break from the chugging part of those ukuleles, so I decided to bring the main strum down an octave and simplify the percussion a little bit, bring back that filter, and just create a little bit more contrast. I feel like if I spend a little more time trying to get the recording a little bit tighter on the ukulele, this would actually probably be a pretty decent track. So if you like it, let me know in the comments if you think I should finish it up and maybe drop it somewhere. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, so thanks for stopping by. See you next week. Peace.